reminder, your coworkers are not your friends. They are there to work with you to get a job done. Do not trust them. I just walked in an office and there's two women that are usually really friendly together, so I always thought they were friends. Okay, their manager comes in and say, "Hey, good morning, ladies, how you doing?" And one of the ladies says, "Oh, it's a good morning, but I thought I was going to be working by myself." And her supposed friend looks over and the manager looks over too and say, "You guys get here at the same time. Why did you think that?" She said, "Oh, we do," to indicate that they don't. And so the boss, manager looked kind of confused, but it was what we used to call dry snitching. So pay attention and don't get too close. Do your job and go home.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So you guys, before we start anything, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe. Thank you. So before we start, I feel like this topic is something that needs to be talked about a little bit more, because it happens every single day and not many people really talk about it. Like some days you just come into work and someone's just gone out of nowhere, and then all these random stories just popping up. But in reality, you guys need to watch out. I don't really have a work betrayal story of my own, but I tend to learn from other people's mistakes. I'm one of those people, like if somebody gives me a warning, I listen. And listening to some of these stories is actually, it's just very insane, because you really never know somebody's intentions, and you really shouldn't, the same way how they tell you you shouldn't shit where you eat, like it goes the same way when it comes to work relations and friendship, because not everybody you can trust. And I can honestly say some of like my closest friends were at one point my colleagues, but we no longer work in the same place together, but we are still really, really close friends. But I like to listen from other people's mistakes on when it comes to trusting people and when it comes to doing certain things, and also covering your ass and covering your back. But let's jump into these stories. I got a couple of good ones for you guys, so let's listen to what they have to say.
Hey man, your co-workers is not your friends. Excuse me, your co-workers is not your friends. I gotta repeat that. And the reason I'm saying it, because every time I talk to somebody, with a 9 to 5 or whatever the case may be, I always gotta constantly remind them, like, yo, them people, y'all not cool. So keep your business. Don't let them into your stuff, because they'll F you over if they get the chance. So I'm gonna give y'all a story on how one of my co-workers who I thought I was cool with tried to get me kicked out the military. Now listen, this some wild shit. Alright, so look, this was early in my military career, so I was naive to a lot of stuff, so I had to, go through it to learn and understand and stuff like that. So right into the story, right? So I had a coworker, right? She would always like bake me cookies and shit. Like, and mind you, she older. At this time, I'm like 20, 21 years old, and she had to be about like 50 years. She was like early to mid 50s. So she always like baking me cookies and bringing me shit, always talking to me, getting me to open up, because I was real reserved. I kept to myself. So she used to be inviting me to her family barbecues, like all kinds of shit. So after like months of doing this, I'm thinking like, okay, we building rapport, we getting close. I feel like I can trust her. So one day, I got tasked to do something, but I completely forgot about it. Like, it wasn't even intentional that I didn't do it. I just forgot about it. So it was like a weekend. So on that Monday when I came into work, she's sitting on her computer typing and whatnot. And she asked me about the thing that I forgot to do about it. And as soon as she asked me, I was like, oh shit, damn, I forgot. And she just like laughed and giggled. And she was like, it's no big deal, whatever, right? So after she says that, she stops typing on her computer and she's like, oh, I'll be right back. So she gets up and she walks out the room. Me, I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm like, okay, whatever. So about 10 minutes later, she come back in the room, sit down, get to working, typing again, everything normal. About 10 more minutes pass, my supervisor's supervisor, he comes in, and he at E7 at this time. So if anybody familiar with the military, they know what that is. And at this time, I was only like an E3. So he at E7. He walk in the room and he like, Miller, I need to talk to you in my office. So I go in his office, he going off, like he's spazzing. He like, why why the F you ain't do what I told you to do, and so told me this, do or that. And I'm saying it a lot more calmer, like he was turned up. And I'm like, whole time in my mind, I'm thinking, I know this, you know, I'll be trying not to curse these days. But I'm like, I know this, and didn't tell this dude what the hell I just told her. And he spazzing. He like, yo, I'm about to write you up. You about to get an Article 15. And anybody know that's familiar with the military, they know how serious like Article 15s is and whatnot. So he eventually kicked me out of his office. Y'all, tell me why I go back into my office. I'm mad as hell. I'm ready to snap on this lady. I walk back into... I can't even tell the story because it's so funny now, but in the moment, this shit wasn't funny at all, y'all. Like, real shit. So tell me why. Y'all, get back to my office. Get back to my desk. This lady put some baked cookies in a Ziploc bag on my desk with a note with a smiley face on it. For real, she put that shit on my desk. So I look at the cookies, and I look at her, and she's typing, and she stopped typing. She look at me and smile and say, is everything okay? Man, hey, bro, y'all don't understand, bro. Hey, bro, I was ready to get up and slap the shit out this lady. And I don't even condone physical violence, none of that. But this shit was so mind-blowing to me. But, and wrapping it all up, I say that to say, when you go to work, you handle your business. You don't get too mixy telling everybody your business. Because this is only, keep in mind, this is only one story. I got a lot of stories like this, not only with things that I went through, but with other people that I know that went through some wild shit. So my point is, when y'all go to work, man, y'all separate y'all personal lives from y'all work lives. Y'all handle work, you know, y'all play stupid, do whatever y'all need to do, go home, and come back to work. That's it. Don't get too close to these people. Don't get mixy, because if they ever get the opportunity, and they don't get it eventually, they will throw your ass under the bus.
That is so messed up. And, you know, I'm glad he's able to laugh about this now, but I know I would have been pissed. And then the fact that she sat there and actually left some baked cookies with a little smiley face and then asked, is everything all right? That is wild, because she didn't even try to cover up she was the snitch. That is... And coming from an older person too, I don't blame his reaction, because that's messed up. That's real messed up.
Colleague does not equal friend, okay? And that's because you all only have one thing really in common, and it's the place of work you're at. You all work together, right? Which means that when it comes to a promotion, you all are rushing to get it at the same time. So what's to say your colleague won't put a roadblock or a barrier there to get there first? Stop telling these people your business. They are not your friends. They are your colleagues. Alrighty.
Become friends with your coworkers. I had a friend who worked with a team of 4 other people, and the 4 other people got laid off. So my friend texted like the group chat and was like, hey, how are you guys doing? Like, here's some jobs. Let me know if you need anything. Now, over the course of this month, they're like complaining about the bosses they didn't like, or just complaining about the organization and how they did things, and like the way that this layoff went down. My friend is participating in the conversation because like she's also annoyed by how everything went down. Specifically, they all had this one boss who like they just had a hard time with. My friend said that the boss was like nice seemingly, but like could be difficult to follow sometimes and seemed to lose her train of thought very often, and it was just very confusing to work for this woman. So one day, a month after the layoffs, that same boss starts acting like really weird. So then my friend got called into a meeting with HR and that person's boss. So naturally she's like, oh my God, like it's a second round of layoffs. I'm going to be next. Like I'm going home. So she gets into this meeting, and it's like at like 7:30 a.m. or like a ridiculously early time. She gets into the meeting, and then HR is like, hey, we got wind of a text message that you were on, and granted it was on your personal phone, but we got wind of this text message that you were on, and we want to know if you can explain what you were saying in these text messages. So HR begins to like read line by line everything that my friend had been saying in these messages and asks her to explain each and everything. So like, remember my friend's boss, who everybody had trouble with, could be like forgetful sometimes. So my friend said that she would often call her Dory in these text messages because she was so forgetful. So HR is like, so you called X, Y, and Z Dory. What did you mean by that? So of course my friend's wondering like, okay, who gave you guys these text messages? Because at this point it's one of the people. Just be careful out here. Don't trust people. Nothing's safe. Not even your personal phone.
This story is actually crazy because at the end of the day, it's my personal stuff. Why are you coming up and asking me about messages that are on my personal phone? Honestly, I wouldn't have nothing to say. I wouldn't answer no questions because it's not like I was using the company's phone when I was having these conversations. The real people you need to be questioning is whoever brought that to you, because I didn't bring up anything to you. And at the end of the day, you can't fire me for something that's on my personal phone. Like, I just find that absolutely crazy. The fact that HR even had the nerve to try to wait for me to break down these text messages and asking all these questions. Nah. Nope. I would have been like, next. Why did you bring me here? Did I do something on company's time? Was I doing a personal call on company's phone? Did I use the company's computer while all this was happening? This was at my time when I was home minding my business. Like, all this right here is absolutely crazy. And everybody in that group chat would have got blocked. Like, you would never hear from me again. I wish you nothing but the worst. That's messed up.
Workers are not your friends, and this is your sign to block them from every form of social media. But let me explain. Now, one time I was having a conversation with my coworkers, right? And they were talking about how they're friends on social media. They hang out outside of work, blah, 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 blah. I don't do none of that with my coworkers. Then they got comfortable and they're like, oh, the manager, her husband is so freaking ugly. And, he plays more of like the feminine role in a relationship, like more of a housewife than a husband. And I'm like, how do you know this? She says, oh, I went to their Facebook and I pulled up the husband. I was looking at him. She proceeds to pull up the husband and show him to me. Was he a looker? Absolutely not. But that's not the point of this story. Then she says, oh yeah, I look at everybody's Facebook. I just want to see what everybody be up to. And immediately after my shift, I went home and blocked everybody because I always thought that, but to hear it out loud, like you intentionally take time out of your day to find your coworkers on social media and judge them. That's why I don't want to be friends.
Well, she's not wrong. I always thought it was weird that the people I do not associate myself with at work would try to friend request me. Those people, I'm not gonna lie to you, I would block them because I don't even talk to you at work. You don't say hi to me. We don't even be in the same area, but all of a sudden, just because we're in the same building, you feel the need to want to friend request me. Like, no, we're not cool like that. And the thing with me, like on my personal, like social media, like for example, my Facebook, I only have people that I actually know personally on there because I sometimes would post like, pictures of my kids or whatever versus like my Instagram. My kids are not on there. I barely post pictures of my husband or anything like that. I just thought that was weird, and I don't blame her. I would have blocked. Bye. No, but like people do really do that, and hearing that story is very creepy. And honestly, it would have like made me go and just block everybody. Well, the ones that I don't associate myself or speak to.
They were like, coworkers are not your friends. Be careful. Listen, babe, nobody was trying to befriend all 30 Susans in accounting, okay? But what I am saying is that when your soul just clicks with that one person that becomes your work bestie, work wife, work husband, I don't care. Your miserable 8 to 5 does not seem so miserable anymore. And if they end up backstabbing you, babe, it builds character. Throw it on your resume. It's work experience, life experience. Hell, in your next interview, when they ask you, have you ever dealt with a difficult situation in the workplace? You could be like, yes, actually, as a matter of fact, a backstabbing twat. Fact of the matter is, corporate America does not give a shit about you. So you might as well have a little bit of fun on the clock. You might as well share a hot pocket with somebody that feeds your soul and a couple fraps. I don't know, but life is way too short to be taken so seriously, especially in the workplace.
I don't disagree with her on that video because like I said before in the beginning of the video, some of my closest friends, were my coworkers. And honestly, it's just something about trauma bonding when you're like knee deep into poop with someone and you're able to still laugh and slit a cookie in the break room and laugh about how horrible that shift was. Just bonds people together. And it's very rare to find that coworker and feel that instant connection, because I know exactly what she's talking about. Some people tend to experience that once in a a job lifetime. And I was grateful that I was able to experience that. And one of my jobs that I used to work, that I stayed there for 4 years, and honestly, the work was hard. It was exhausting, but it was the people that actually made coming to work actually worth it. But I don't disagree with her. It's one thing to have your guard up, but at the same time, if you find that person that you click with, just let it spontaneously happen. And like how she said, if it doesn't work out, then hey, you got some experience, so you can talk about that, work conflicts and whatever. She ain't lying about it. She makes perfect sense. But please enjoy the last video. I thought it was just something very funny just to clip in there. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will have more videos next week. Bye.